Now at 4, an Arctic blast hitting the Charlotte area. Rain, snow, and sleet falling all over the Piedmont, from Charlotte to Boone and everywhere in between. Charlotte now under a winter weather advisory. The I-40 corridor under a winter storm warning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Fred Shropshire.
And I'm Rachel Brown. Here's a live look at first warn Doppler radar. You see the path the snow is taking. Pretty much all of our area feeling the effects. We
have live team coverage for the next 2.5 hours. We're tracking the models, the roads, and everything you need to know to keep your family safe.
First, we want to start with Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. And Brad, how is it looking out there now? And what can people expect for the rest of the night and the weekend?
It's going to be an interesting night. It's all about location. If you're north of Charlotte, you're seeing snow fall and continue to accumulate, especially on the grassy and elevated surfaces. But even some of the roads are becoming covered to the north. That's where we've got the winter storm warning. Now, in the Charlotte area, there's a really fine line between where you see snow and where you don't. Now, this is what it looks like up in Blowing Rock. It's beginning to taper off up there because the back edge of the moisture is starting to move into the mountains. Now, the radar shows the rain-snow line there. I can tell you here at the station, we had snow for a while. It's back to rain, and we've had no accumulation here in Charlotte South, even though we've seen some snowflakes. In the mountains, you can see why the back edge is starting to move in, and that's why in Blowing Rock, the snow is letting up. This is becoming a fluffier snow as the colder but also drier air works in from the north and the west. This is where we've seen some big-time totals, 1 to 2, 3 inches. The highest total outside of the mountains I've seen has been in Lenore, 3 inches so far. Northern Cleveland County, about 2 inches. Otherwise, 1 to 2 inches across the Interstate 40 corridor. In Charlotte, it's a rain, sleet, and sometimes snow mix, but the air temperatures are hovering just a couple degrees above the freezing mark, which is keeping this from sticking to the roads. But here's the problem. As we get later into the night, these temperatures are going to dip close to freezing, which would allow for those bridges and overpasses to ice up. There's still some moisture down to the south. This is moving to the northeast, but the whole system is slowly pushing off to the east. So it's really going to be a race to see how quickly we can get the moisture out as the cold air filters in. But this snow is likely going to linger into the morning hours. This is the snowfall so far, at least estimated. You see all the way down into southeast Louisiana through Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, northern Georgia, the upstate of South Carolina, and the western part of North Carolina, in particular the North Carolina mountains, seeing some of the heaviest snow so far. Some areas west of Asheville have picked up close to 8 inches. You see the heavier totals up here around Charlotte. Hard to find a big accumulation except for on the grassy surfaces. So here's what I'm expecting for the rest of the night. We'll end up with totals probably 5 to 8 in the mountains, 4 to 5 across the foothills into the northwest Piedmont, and some grassy surfaces in Charlotte from north to south. Northern part of the county could see a couple inches to maybe a dusting to an inch in the southern part of the county. Coming up, we're going to talk about the cold air moving in behind this system and what that means for the rest of the weekend.
Brad, thanks. And as Brad mentioned, the mountains seeing the most snow. This is a live look at both Beech Mountain and Boone. Definitely a winter wonderland in those towns. NBC Charlotte's Rob Hughes is in Boone for us this afternoon. And Rob, how is it looking up there?
Well, Rachel, it's still snowing, believe it or not, and it's been snowing here in Boone for about 4 straight hours now. And the theme that we've gotten from a lot of the people that we've spoken to this afternoon is that it's a surprise, both in terms of the amount of snow they've received to this point, but also how quickly and early it came today.
The roads in this area definitely impacted. Snowplow trucks trying to keep everything clear, but having a hard time keeping up with the continuously falling precipitation. The winter weather is an inconvenience for many, but for others, it's a chance to have some fun. App State students out in full force to take advantage of the first big snow of the season. As soon as we pulled into town, dozens of college kids grabbing anything they could that could be used as a sled or a snowboard. It's good news for most students. Not only were afternoon classes canceled, but so were exams.
Now it's just like, hey, go party, do what you want to do. Why stay inside all day? You know, you don't know when it's going to end, so hang out. Hopefully it packs up some more, have some snowball fights, maybe throw some stuffs, you know, have some fun.
I haven't done it yet, but we're going to have to take our mattresses off our beds and just slide down some hills if we find some really tall and steep ones.
So final exams or sledding, I know which one I'd rather be doing, of course, and then also the snowball fights they mentioned. Most of the people here in Boone taking this snow in stride because they see it a little more often, including one family we saw that was out buying a Christmas tree in this mess. We'll hear from them coming up tonight at 5. For now, live in Boone, Rob Hughes, NBC Charlotte.
Rob, thanks. You stay safe.
And here in Charlotte, not everyone's seeing snow, but it is a mess out there in some places. This is a live look at uptown Charlotte from our view cam. NBC Charlotte's Rad Berkey live in uptown right now. Rav, how does it look out there right now?
Well, I think there are a lot of people walking around who wish we were getting some snow like they're getting up there in Boone. Instead, what we are blessed with tonight is a very cold, damp, wet rain. Occasionally we can hear some plinking off the car, which would be indicative of sleet, but that doesn't last very long. We're on South Church Street here. You can see the traffic is moving. We are just getting into the rush hour now. What some of these folks may not realize is if they're going to get on 77 southbound, they're in for a long ride home. There was a bad accident around Tyvola earlier this afternoon southbound, and that has the southbound side going very slowly tonight. So here's the deal. It is wet, it is rainy, but the roads are good. We had no slipping and sliding or anything like that yet because the temperatures are good. So it is wet and nasty, but take your time and you'll get home. Live in Uptown, Brad Berkey, NBC Charlotte.
Brad, thank you. The weather causing an issue for travelers on both the road and in the skies. We have crews covering it all. NBC Charlotte's Mark Boyle at the airport this afternoon.
But first, we want to get out to meteorologist Sarah Fortner, who is in the Chevy Storm Tracker. Sarah, how are the roads looking?
Hey guys, so far the roads are just wet, and Brad and I have been talking about this all week, that we didn't think things would stick to the actual road because, well, the soil temperature is in the 50s. You're looking at our roof cam on the storm tracker, a lot of slow moving traffic, but the roadways, honestly, not too bad. I think so far a lot of people just treating this like it is a raining situation with the snow to come later. Haven't spotted any flakes just yet, not even sleet here. We're actually in Gaston County near Belmont, or Mount Holly rather, in this area. So 277-85 was packed, and you're going to have to allow an extra 30 minutes minimum for that rush hour traffic. That's it from the Storm Tracker. Reporting from Gaston County, we're going to send things back to you.
Sarah, thanks. People trying to fly in or out of Charlotte today may have some issues. Dozens of flights canceled so far, and vouchers being handed out to travelers to travel later. NBC Charlotte's Mark Boyle has been at the airport all day long as conditions have worsened.
Rachel, American Airlines issued those waivers just a few hours ago for more than 24 airports, including Charlotte, for travelers for tomorrow. This winter weather mix is certainly causing a lot of problems for travelers this weekend. De-icing trucks were out spraying jets first thing this morning when the temperature started to drop. Across the southeast, hundreds of canceled flights.
So we're very busy getting ready for our first winter weather of the season. We are very well prepared. We've got 28 ice trucks, de-icing trucks ready to go to get our flights on their way. We've got extra staff coming in early tomorrow morning.
Delta reporting nearly 400 canceled flights due to the snow in the Atlanta area. This storm is expected to snarl air traffic not only today, but throughout the weekend. And we're on the top deck of the hourly garage here at the airport. Take a look behind me, pretty wide open. That's because they have it blocked up here just in case it starts to freeze or ice starts to form. Certainly trying to make sure everyone stays safe out here at the airport. More on the conditions out here at 5 and 6 o'clock. Now reporting live at the airport this afternoon, I'm Mark Boyle, NBC Charlotte.
Mark, thank you.
Mark, thank you for the update.
North Carolina not the only place seeing snow. Much of the South seeing it as well. Some of these places not used to it either. Sarah French joining us live from the newsroom to show us what the rest of the country is dealing with. Sarah?
Yeah, Fred, 3 months ago, Houston was dealing with Hurricane Harvey. Now they're dealing with snow. Very unusual for them. Check this out. The stretch of cold, wet weather in southeast Texas culminated with sleet pellets and snowflakes mixed in with the raindrops. The rare winter ice caused problems for some drivers trying to maneuver the slick roads. However, the snow was welcomed by children who played in it at school. And take a look at Atlanta. Heavy snow is falling there. Much of northern Georgia is under a winter storm warning. Up to 2 inches has accumulated so far in Atlanta. Snowfall totals could reach 4 inches farther north. Georgia Power reports almost 29,000 customers are without electricity, many in metro Atlanta. Dozens of flights are canceled in and out of Hartsfield-Jackson International. And in Birmingham, the early winter storm has left as much as an inch of snow in places. The area is under a winter storm warning until midnight. And then coming up in our next half hour, our viewers are sending in their pictures from snow in our area. So you'll want to check that out coming up in about 30 minutes, guys.
All right, Sarah, thanks. And as the cold air and even snow makes its way through the Charlotte area, the Red Cross is urging you to take precautions. Make sure to wear layers of clothing to stay warm and check in on your neighbors, and make sure especially the elderly have heat. Make sure to bring your pets inside, and lastly, protect your pipes. Open cabinet doors to allow warm air to circulate around plumbing.